John. I'm Kim Krause, and I play June in Gatchaman. I was not familiar with any of them at all. Yeah, it's something I wish I would have been familiar with. I have fallen in love with the series, absolutely. So, but no, I actually was not familiar with it. Let's see. I guess that would be my audition. It was hilarious. I loved it. It was we auditioned with the Turtle King, the little with a snippet from and June's like, the giant turtle. I don't know what exactly the line is, but the giant turtle is moving toward the city. And I just love I just love it. I love the melodrama. It's just beautiful. I don't know how to answer that question, because I just kind of think about what's going on, really, what's going on in the scene itself. There's not a ton to do vocally, just because her character is close to what just naturally comes out, so. Yeah, usually, for the most part, she's either throwing her yo-yo or kicking. You just see a boot flying through the air. And I just think of the scene itself, really, of what I'm doing, which is quite comical when you're thinking of throwing a yo-yo at someone. But the yo-yo is deadly, so. Oh goodness. Well, I don't get to see a lot of the other characters. I get to see them a lot and interact with them, but Ryu, for instance, I hardly interact with him at all. And so I don't get to see him. He always makes me crack up every time I see him. And Jinpei is hilarious, of course. Lucy Christian is voicing Jinpei, and she's doing a fabulous job. So I like those characters. But I tend to like all the characters. Of course, Ken. I'm always saying his name. So love Ken. I hardly actually have any interaction with Joe as well. So I don't know a lot about Joe. I don't know. He seems to be fairly calm and collected and quiet to me. But that may just be because I haven't seen him at the right times. So. I think she probably is, but I don't know that for sure. I imagine she is. That's like that's the one word that you can always bet will be in a session is Ken. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna have to say Ken at some point during the session. Probably about 20 times during the session, but. Okay, because in the show itself, the giant sea anemone just cracked me up. That, was great. But about the show, I'm just having a good time working on it because we'll just, it's a lot of fun with Charlie and and Eden just, laughing, being able to kind of laugh at little things like response times, after someone asks a question and then it takes so long for someone else to answer. And it's just the style of animation or anime. And just being able to laugh at little things that happen or whatever. it's just been a fun time. It's a fun show. I really like coming in to work on this show because we like we all like it. And I that, just makes it a lot of fun to work with. Well, I think that it being, old is a lot of the beauty of it. I mean, that's one of the things that makes it, for me, I mean, it just reminds me of things that I guess things from my childhood or whatever, and things that we used to watch, and I think that's a lot of the beauty of it, is its era that it came from. I've worked on, Super Gals was the first big role. That one was a lot of fun. I worked on Super Gals, and then the very first show I believe that I worked on was Those Who Hunt Elves 2, so the second season, and that was very interesting. I played Nancy Naga, the zoanthropy treatment specialist. Had to think for a minute for exactly what she was, but I've done, right now I'm obviously in Gatchaman. I'm doing Mavarajo, and that's fun, and then a ton, of other, like, I mean, those were the three main roles that I've done, and then I've done a lot of other, smaller parts and Walla, and which is also very interesting because you get to, experiment with your voices and stuff, which is fun. Actually, I had a couple of friends, Elitch Guardiola and Keita Coker, who were doing it already, and they just told me to, give them a call, and, I've always been, interested in acting, and I do acting on stage and stuff, but I had never done voiceover acting, so came in and auditioned and got called back. It was a couple of years ago. Oh, it's incredibly different on some levels, and then in some levels it's not. You have no preparation time. You basically, with stage acting, you'll take a script, you memorize your lines, and you work through the lines, and you work through the emotions, and you have just a lot more time to think about it. With voiceover work, you come in and you don't know the story, usually you don't know the story, and you just see little snippets of the scene, and often, I'll have to ask questions like, why is she saying that, and what does that mean, so that I can kind of register it in my brain, what she's talking about. Otherwise, you would say it, you'd probably hit the wrong inflection, or, if you don't exactly know why they're saying what they're saying. But the other thing is that, you can't move around a lot in the booth, or else, as I have found, people make a lot of noise, stomping on the floor, and that's a lot when I first came, I'd have to, like, we'd have to, do another take because I stomped my foot, or, I hit the stand, or whatever, because I'm physicalizing, and you can do some of that. I mean, you definitely do some of that. A lot of it comes with facial expressions, or just, holding your hand up, or whatever, but, I still have to be very careful not to move around a lot, and actually make noise, because then, that doesn't make the engineers very happy. For several years, actually, I guess I kind of got a late start in doing plays. I got a late start doing plays professionally. I did, plays in school and stuff, but yeah, it hasn't actually been that long, basically since I had a full-time job out of college, and it was very difficult to do anything extra. And now I have a little more free time to do that. If it's what you really want to do, and it's your love and it's your passion, then pursue it, and that may include, taking acting classes, and basically taking acting classes and taking voice classes, and and then just contacting the studio for an audition. Yeah. I went to Kamikaze Con recently. That was the only one I've ever been to, and so far, hopefully there will be more. It was very interesting. It was my first con experience, and I was like, oh my gosh, all these toys and all this, and I just went like crazy. Because there was just so much to look at, and I had a great time, just met a lot of people, and it was a lot of fun. I love camping. I love backpacking. I love seeing nature and just going out and just getting in nature and enjoying it. That's my main hobby. I have a lot of others. I play bass guitar, and I'm learning the just regular acoustic guitars. I play some piano, I sing, so that's kind of a hobby too. Oh gosh. I love all kinds of music. I mean, I tend to listen a lot more to rock stuff.
Hold on, let me come in there. You're welcome. I'll watch your movie. Nice.
I like it. But I really can listen to just about any kind of music. Just about. There are some exceptions, but it just really depends on what mood I'm in, I guess. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next vlog.
The very first release of Gatchaman to home video was done by a Japanese film company named Lily. This 8mm compilation release started with the first episode of Gatchaman, presented in full color with sound. However, it was edited and did not contain the entire episode. In the late 70s, 8mm film was not cheap, which is reflected in the nearly $50 price for a single volume. The package was very nice, consisting of a full-color, heavy cardboard outer sleeve with previously published artwork, an inner case with a folding snap closure and protective black plastic coating, the film on its own plastic reel, and a matching audio cassette of the episode in case the viewer didn't have a projector capable of playing back the optical soundtrack. Each release also included a catalog of other films offered by Lily, plus folded Gatchaman posters and flyers. Some 6 years after the release of Gatchaman episodes on 8mm came the show's first release on videotape. In 1984, a compilation edition of episodes 1, 2, 6, and 8 were joined together with opening and closing credits that were created specifically for the release. The cover for the tape featured an image from a previously published Tatsunoko fan club poster. The tape was marked Volume 1, indicating that further volumes may have been intended to appear at a later date, but none ever materialized. Since videotapes were made primarily for the rental market in 1984, they were not cheap. Gatchaman was no exception. It retailed at 12,800 yen, or about $57 US, a fairly staggering price at the time. However, this remained the only easily accessible way to see Gatchaman for another 5 years. The first home video release of Gatchaman that contained complete episodes was a set of VHS tapes released in 1989 by Polydor of Japan. Prices were still high, with each volume retailing for 8,200 yen, or about $65. The cassettes were housed in clamshell cases with printed artwork inserts. The art consisted of a combination of frame grabs specific to the episodes on that particular volume and promotional artwork. The first 5 volumes were released on the same day, and as a bonus to people who purchased them, each volume contained an exclusive phone card with a Gatchaman image. Altogether, 30 episodes were released on the tapes, 3 per tape, which, unfortunately, still left more than 2/3 of the series unreleased. These tapes were re-released